Now, over the past week, we have brought you many stories of people reaching out to help Fort McMurray residents, and that's been happening across Canada. It's especially true of the immediate area. It is home to several First Nation communities, and John Northcott is here with stories of how people there have been helping out. John?
Yeah, little stories trickling in, big stories in terms of communities effectively punching well above their weight when it came to the influx of refugees that they helped to accommodate and to provide not only things like food and water, but also sympathy as well. This situation, this is the Enoch Cree Nation. This is the North of 60 gas bar. It's operated by the nation, and they started giving out free gas on Thursday as evacuees came through. They described people coming in and the emotion on people's faces as they realized that this offer was being made and fully accepted as people gassed up. So that's from the Enoch Cree First Nation. This also coming in from Fort McKay. This is a community of 417, and they have accepted as many as 5,000 evacuees from the city of Edmonton. Really quite incredible for a community that size, providing food, providing water, providing a roof over their head. This is the story of the community of Fort McKay. And Capuano First Nation, they actually took a bus full of food and water to help evacuees, and then their order came to pull out, and they filled the bus again with those people and were able to take them out. All of this being noticed by the government, by the provincial government, and the municipal affairs minister paying tribute. Have a listen.
Many First Nations have opened their communities and homes to evacuees and have made generous donations to the Red Cross. There are dozens of examples of this kind of generosity in First Nations across Alberta, and I know the evacuees and all Alberta appreciates this support.
And Rashmi, we're going to hear more and more of these stories. I mean, so much of it now is dealing with the fire, dealing with the immediate needs of people, but it may take weeks or even months for these smaller stories to come out from some of the smaller communities who have done so much to help people.
Yeah, and those living on First Nations communities have had to escape the fire as well, right? How are they coping?
Absolutely. It goes both ways, in terms of communities where people have had to escape. One of those First Nations communities, this is from the Alexis First Nation, in many of them have gone to Edmonton, and the chief had to speak to them to say, you know what, you're here safely, but you will have other needs. Trust me, you'll have other needs, and those services are available. Here's his advice to his people who've had to evacuate.
There's services here, health services, there's food services, there's banking services, insurance services. There's so much in this building right now that the city and the Northlands has put together that anyone who's coming here, there's something for all of them to make them as comfortable as possible.
And that's going to be the story moving forward, Rashmi, for so many, not just First Nations, of course, but for so many of those other evacuees. The medium-term needs, if you will, dealing with mental health, dealing with, as the chief referred to, banking, all those little things that once you're over the initial shock, that will have to be dealt with down the road.
Thank you, John.
Okay.